So we have a 95% win rate. I think I said before 70%. No, here's the 95% win rate, meaning almost 95% of our stocks go up after we launch them, okay? That's a fact. That is a fact. 95% of our clients increase. Here are the facts. Only about, 18% of our clients actually become 10 baggers, okay? About 18% increase 1,000%. So, we have a couple of haters out there that say, oh, this guy says 10 baggers, he's going to have 10 baggers, and these stocks only double or triple or go up 700%. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Only about 18%. Now, penny stock billionaires, are you ready for massive profits in 2026? Well, guess what? We had some pretty decent winners last year. Unfortunately, our biggest winner was only 700%. We had a bunch of doubles and triples. Literally, we had 100% win rate, meaning every time we launch a new stock, it goes up, on day one. Literally day one, on average, $20 million in trading volume on the first day and up from there. And which, by the way, is very, very unusual. I'll explain to you the secret of why we have consistently, back-to-back winners. And guess what? We're launching our next banger, okay, the next banger, as the kids call it, early January, probably the first week of January. That stock will probably double on day one. I'll explain to you why our stocks tend to double on day one. And I'm going to go through our methodology also. But here's the thing. Here's what I'm expecting in 2026. There's a very smart guy named Larry Williams, who's a cycles analyst. He's a cycles expert. He's actually he's a super successful trader, day trader, whatever. This guy's been around for decades. I mean, I don't know how old he is now, but I remember actually cold calling him, when I was like commodity broker. I was like 17 years old. Okay. I cold called him to try to get his account because, he got famous for turning like, 10 grand into like $1 million that year. He was like the most successful trader of that year. I think it was like 1990. I think it was 90. It was a long time ago. Okay. Anyway, Larry Williams check out. He's got a video on YouTube talking about the cycles. He's very bullish on 2026. Okay. Larry Williams does his research. Okay. We got major uptrends for 2026. And I'll kind of give you my forecast. I think we're going to have, again, there's going to be probably volatility, but I think we're going to have a pretty good year. I do think that gold is going to peak. That's right. Gold, which I've been bullish on gold for years. If you look at my old videos here, I'm interviewing some of the top gold gurus like in 2020 or 21. And, I was telling these guys, hey, I think gold is going to $5,000. And these guys said, oh, you're crazy. I don't want to live in a world where gold is $5,000. Or actually, they said, you don't want to live in a world where gold is $5,000 because I guess it means chaos or whatever. And guess what? We're there now. And, the world is okay. The world, I think, is doing pretty okay. It's never perfect. I do believe gold will top out this year, probably in around 5,300, 5,800. That'll be generational peak. Same thing with silver. And, these things will drop back to, like, let's say gold will go back to 2,000, 2,500. So I plan to dump all my gold stocks, everything, sometime this year. I think we're going to have a great year for AI. There's going to be some big wins, other sectors. And again, people are saying there's an AI bubble, just like the .com bubble. Maybe there is a bubble, but if you compare the two, and I remember the .com bubble. We're probably in the equivalent of 1998. So we have about 2 years to go. We have probably 2 years to go, maybe 97, 98, sometime around then. We had maybe, so we have about at least a year and a half to go. Definitely while Trump is in office, I think we're going to have a very strong market. Definitely into his third year. Now, what do we have in store for you this year? I believe we're going to have a number of back-to-back 10 baggers. Why do I say that? Because, things run in streaks, okay? And typically, again, I've introduced investors to more 10 baggers than anybody on the planet. Again, literally wrote the book, 10 Bagger Blueprint. Click the link above to get it on Amazon or get our video course. Sometimes we have 3 or 4 10 baggers back to back in a row. We have like literally one stock after another increases 1,000%, 1,200%, 2,000%. It happens back to back. okay? And then we can go 5 in a row, which are dogs, okay? But generally speaking, probably 1 out of 5 of our stocks is going to increase 1,000%, 1 out of 6. So roughly about 15, 20%, 10 baggers, which is an incredible number compared to anybody else on the planet, okay? By the way, most of our stocks are multi-baggers. I mean, like literally all of our stocks become multi-baggers. When I say literally, it's probably 70% of our stocks at least double, 75% double. And some of them just kind of go 50%, 30%, and they kind of, fade out, whatever it is. That's the reality, okay? Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to go through the track record with you, but also I'm going to explain to you the secret of, why, Wall Street Reporter, why the stocks we bring you, why we have this incredible track record, which is unmatched, unparalleled anywhere else. I think it's the best kept secret on Wall Street, which is okay. Anyway, guys, if you want to get notifications, early notifications when we launch that new 10 bagger, click the link below to sign up for our free email newsletter. But let me show you let me walk you through our methodology very, very quickly so you'll understand exactly what we're looking for, and also so that you could profit, okay, so that you could profit in 2026 when we launch that next super stock, okay? A lot of people, okay, I get complaints all the time on social media, everybody's saying, oh, your stock doubled, everybody's, oh, this guy's a scammer, oh, his stocks are down. No, you have to get in at the ground floor. You got to get in at the ground floor. Then you can make the money. You got to get in when we launch those stocks, and you got to get out based on the sell signals that I explain in the book, okay? We can't tell you to sell stocks here because these are all paid clients, right? I can't do that. It would be really unethical. I also don't tell you to buy the stocks. We don't give buy-sell recommendations, but we tell you when the buy signals are, okay? And if you read the book, you get the course, you'll understand when to get out of these stocks because there's always a time to get out. Now, let me go through the methodology so you can have a massively profitable 2026. Let's get into it right here. Okay. By the way, first I want to go through with you. Our track record. Just go through with you our track record in the last couple of months, also previous wins, so you understand exactly what we're talking about. Okay. So this year, this is our winners of this year. Lottery up 150% on day one, and it doubled within like 2 days. Actually, more than doubled within 2 days. Up 150%. They were massive volume, record volume. All our stocks get massive volume, usually $20 million a day. So in other words, if a stock is $1, they're going to trade 20 million shares. Okay, nobody else does that. Next, Adatex, a bit of a dog. Okay, we launched it at 85%. Excuse me, we launched it day one, and it went up 85% and traded like also $20 million. Okay, so it nearly doubled on day one. And then it kind of fell apart. I'll tell you why. The reason is they didn't have news flow. Okay, and one of the things I tell you, we look for stocks which are at the inflection point. And how do you know they're at the inflection point? It's the news flow. If you see one of our stocks that doesn't have news flow for 2 weeks, consistent news flow, dump it. Okay, it means they're a dog. They're not going to have. It means if they don't come out swinging, forget about it. We got to have news flow. That's the proof of the inflection point. Next. Advent up 300% within a couple of days. I think it nearly doubled on the first day. Traded 42 million shares on the first day. Okay, which is over 4 days. That's what 42 million. Incredible volume, record volume. 300 was it? It was 300%. Yes, I think 300% increase. 300% increase. Is that 300% from $2? It went from $2 to $6.16 after we launched it. Now. That stock fell apart for various reasons. I will go into it later. There was some NASDAQ thing that happened with them, some technicality that led to a delisting with their shareholders' equity, whatever it was. I mean, you can go through the filings and all that. That came in, by the way, as a complete surprise to me, to everybody. You have this is an outlier, complete outlier. We've never had that type of thing happen, but this is what happens in penny stocks. You always have some sort of drama, something weird always happens. Lottery had the weird stuff happen. I think the CEO of Lottery got kicked out. I mean, it's been an interesting year. Worksport, which we just launched, up 50% on day one. Again, record volume, biggest volume they ever had. Okay, this company's been around 20 years, or I don't know, 10 years, whatever it is. Biggest volume they ever had. Now, why the stock couldn't go up? You know what? They had an open offering. I didn't take that into account. They had an open offering, a Reg A. So technically, people were buying the Reg A. Why should they buy the public market when they could buy the Reg A? I mean, whatever. So I think that put a damper on it. I didn't expect it to be a big deal because I thought there'd be a lot more. I think Worksport, frankly, is in the early stages. I really do believe Worksport could be a massive, massive winner. We're still working with them. So Worksport, 10x upside potential, I believe. Hoth doubled on day one. Excuse me, up 90%. Excuse me, up 90% on day one. Massive volume, record volume on day one. What else do we have? We had Seattle. Seattle is our biggest winner of this year, up 700%. It could have been a 10-bagger. Frankly, the problem with Seattle was we were waiting for the merger to close, the NASDAQ merger to close. Nobody believed it would happen. It actually did happen. It took 2 months longer. It took 2 months longer than everybody expected. It closed. And of course, buy the rumor, sell the news. The stock is lower after they close the deal. Why? It's just the way it works. Look at Fubo. Same thing happening with Fubo. That's a New York Stock Exchange company. Now, if you had read my book, 10-Bagger Blueprint, you would know. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Okay. What else do we have this year? Logistics doubled in 1 day. Okay. 30 million shares. Again, massive, massive volume. And what happened there was also the CEO and the directors were kicked out. They resigned. I don't know. There's some drama happened a few months ago, and we haven't heard what's going on. But again, we only had a 2-month contract with them, and it was up literally like the day before they got kicked out, which is very, very unusual and weird. But it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to go through with you the rules for profits. Okay, I'm going to go through with you the rules for profits. But you know what? Before I explain to you our secret system, I also want to show you. Let me just show you. Let me show you. Hang on a second. Some real winners, just so you understand exactly what we're dealing with. Let me see how I do this. Okay, hang on a second. Let me just start from the beginning. Okay. Again, we got a proven system, literally a proven system for stocks, for you to get in at the ground floor of stocks and become 10-baggers. Whether it's for CEOs, okay, any CEO that follows our system, okay, the stock is like basically guaranteed to become a 10-bagger, okay? Because again, we don't take on every company. We work only with stocks that are undervalued. Well, you'll see exactly our criteria, why we constantly get these massive wins. So please, guys, very, very important. Please pay very close attention because this is the philosophy. This is what you need to keep in mind when we launch that next super stock in about a week. Okay, so here are the rules. We're playing for big stakes, okay? We're not playing to double. We're not playing for 50%. Yes, our stocks usually double on day one, but the idea is this. We're looking for a minimum 10x upside, okay? I only take on clients, okay? This is all paid content. I only take on clients which I believe could be 10-baggers, all right? I have a 10-part criteria, okay? It's right here in the book. I'm the only guy in this business, in the stock promotion business, okay, which has a proven system, a proven framework, okay? And the companies that follow my framework get massive results. Not all of them become 10-baggers. Some might only go up 300 or 500%, all right? But anybody that follows this, any CEO that follows will be a winner. And any investor that follows will be a winner. So here's what we're looking for. We're looking for, again, by the way, I turn away literally millions of dollars in business every year because a lot of companies want to work with me because obviously they see this volume that we get. Okay, they all want to work with me, but they have to meet this criteria. They have to basically have a couple of things. So you're going to find out what the criteria is. So here we go. So minimum 10x upside, okay? Even 100x upside. We have to have a clear runway also to an immediate 3 to 5x within a few months. So really, I'm looking for a 10-bagger within 6 to 9 months, what I call a 10-bagger window. So when I take on a client, I'm looking for a stock that can increase 1,000% within 6 to 9 months. But at least it should be a 300% within a couple of months, first 45 days maybe. Okay, so it's the asymmetric setup. It's what I call the asymmetric setup. So basically what it means is we're looking for a dollar stock, which can increase 10x or more, okay? And the downside might be very limited. The downside in that stock might only be 25 or 50 cents. So you're buying a $1 stock and the downside is only 25 cents, which really means you're risking 25 cents to make $10. It's a 40 to 1. That's what we're looking for. How does it work? I look for stocks which are deeply undervalued. So every time we launch a stock, it has to be trading at 75% discount below the comps, the peer group comps, or discount to the, sometimes they're trading at a discount to the cash on hand. Like, for example, some of these companies have had, 10 million in cash when we launch them, and the market cap is 9 million, like Hoth. So you have a built-in profit. It's a concept I discussed in the book, a built-in profit. So your downside is minimal. It's exactly what Warren Buffett does. I use the same methodology that Warren Buffett used. I stole the idea from him, okay? Actually, Warren Buffett stole the idea from, what's his name? The value investing guy, Benjamin Graham, okay? So basically, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I'm looking for asymmetric bets. I'm buying stocks. You're buying stocks which have that built-in profit. We're not, so in other words, it's just a matter of time before that valuation gap closes. Again, everything explained in the book, 10-bagger blueprint. Okay, here are the criteria. Let me make a big chart. Okay, ready? Number one, these companies, by the way, these are the main criteria. Number one, these are companies targeting massive multi-billion-dollar market opportunities. Two, they're at a key inflection point, meaning, they're scaling, their explosive growth is happening now, okay? It's happening literally right now. What I call a 10-bagger window, meaning all of a sudden, like when we sign the company on, we're expecting massive news flow. Usually, I before we sign on with the company, I have a very detailed discussion with the CEO. I say, okay, what kind of catalyst do you have for the next couple of months? Show me like a spreadsheet of news releases that you potentially will have, so I know that you're at the inflection point. Okay. By the way, I can't buy the stocks in advance. I don't. Obviously it's inside information, so I can't. But the advantage that you guys have, okay, your advantage is that basically when we bring them on, essentially you have insider information, because I know something good is going to happen. Otherwise, I wouldn't take them on as a client. Okay, it's just the way it works. Multiple catalysts. Okay, so again, there's got to be multiple catalysts, multiple events out there that are going to make that stock potentially a 10-bagger. We're talking about something that could be transformational with new product launches, new hires, whatever it is, regulatory approvals, whether it's a drug going into clinical trials, et cetera, et cetera. We're looking for major catalysts like that can, bring that stock up. Number four, and this is a big one. Again, I explained it before. I'm looking for a stock which has what I call a built-in profit, okay? We're looking for stocks that are undervalued to the peer group. For example, let's say WorkSport, WKSP. That stock, I believe, should be trading at, I don't know, $10 a share today. We're trading at $250, all right? It should, they got probably 15 million, 25 million in book value between cash and assets. The market cap is, I don't know, what is it, 15 million? So you're trading at a discount to really book value. And, they're doing 20 million in revenues. Their revenues are exploding. They should be trading at least at a 5x, meaning 100 million valuation. And they're trading at a 20 million valuation. Their peers, even private companies, would be 3x or more. So you have a built-in profit. And it's just a matter of time till that valuation gap closes. Is it guaranteed? No. Okay, these stocks can all go to zero. That's the reality. Everything involves risk. Number five, the chart. That's a big deal. So, every time we bring on a company, I always look at the charts. I'm a chart guy at heart. I want something which has a nice wide bottom, maybe even a previous high, a very high number, and a stock ready to break out of the moving averages. Okay, so meaning when we launch that stock, the catalysts are going to go. Guys, pay attention to this. Pay close attention, okay? When we launch a new stock, I look at the charts before we even take on the company, and I want to make sure that, okay, we're right. Either we're just breaking out of some key moving averages, whether it's the 50 and the 200 on the 1 hour chart, the 4 hour chart, the daily chart, whatever it is. I want to have a nice wide bottom for base for a breakout, okay? It's everything I explained in the book, okay? Or my video course, link below to get all that, all right? I'm very transparent, okay? For me to bring on a client, okay, no matter how much they pay, okay, we charge these companies, 6 figures, okay? They're paying 6 figures for a 6-month program, all right? And I turn away clients. Why do I turn them away? Because they don't meet some of these criteria. In order for me to accept their money, okay, they need to meet 10 of these criteria. So Okay, by the way, so let's go through our track record. Our track record. People, by the way, there's a bunch of scammers and haters who've been saying, oh, this guy's this guy's that, pump and dump, blah, blah, blah. They pick out stocks which, after we no longer work with the company for like 2 years and then the stock crashes. Listen, here's what you need to know. We've almost never had a stock go down on our watch, meaning while we have the contract with the company, while we're promoting the stock, we've almost never had a stock go down or stay down. Sometimes they drop a little bit, then they come back, whatever. We've never had a stock like collapse. Never happened. Could it happen? Maybe. Could happen in the future. Who knows? So let's go through the track record. So we have a 95% win rate. I think I said before 70%. No, here's the 95% win rate, meaning almost 95% of our stocks go up after we launch them, okay? That's a fact. That is a fact. 95% of our clients increase after we launch them. Now, whether they increase 20% or 50% or 100%, right away, who knows? But they almost all go up. A lot of people who try to do what I do, they have one dog after another because they're prostitutes, okay? These people just take money. They don't even know, they don't even care. They don't have a system. They got nothing, okay? You got these fake grifters out there, especially in Canada. I'm not going to name them, but you guys know who they are. They're just prostitutes. Anybody who'll pay them, 10 grand a month or whatever it is. I mean, they're cheap prostitutes. Anybody that'll hire them, they'll promote those stocks, okay? That's why, 90% of their stocks go down. Here, we're just the opposite. 95% of our clients increase immediately, all right? Now, here are the facts. Only about, 18% of our clients actually become 10 baggers, okay? About 18% increase 1,000%. So, we have a couple of haters out there that say, oh, this guy says 10 baggers, he's going to have 10 baggers, and these stocks only double or triple or go up 700%. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Only about 18%. Now, these things run in streaks. That's a fascinating thing. There's a guy named Monish Pabrai, who's like the Indian Warren Buffett. Look him up on YouTube. He's got the mustache. And this guy's a blackjack player. And he says, look, he was kicked out of a casino in Vegas, not for counting cards. He wasn't counting cards. What this guy figured out is, he's a mathematician, really, and this is a scientific fact. Luck runs in streaks. Things run in streaks. So sometimes if you have the winners, they're going to have back-to-back winners. So you want to double down. You want to put the big money when you're on a streak, okay? And when you have losers, you want to bring the bets down. So same thing here. Very simple. We had, for example, in a good year, we may have 5 back-to-back 10 baggers. In a bad year, in a bear market, we'll have 4 dogs in a row, stocks that kind of fizzle out, they don't go anywhere, whatever it is, etc. By the way, we're due right now for some back-to-back 10 baggers because we haven't had a 10 bagger in a while, right? Our biggest win is only 700%. That's not, by the way, that's not success. We got to have a 10 bagger. So, for my competitors, for low lives in this business, these fake newsletters out there, stock promoters, IR firms, they don't even care about these things. I care, okay? I'm only interested in 10 baggers. Now, here's the other fact. 75% of our stocks double within the first week, okay? These are facts. Okay? Look at the track record for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, okay? 75% of our stocks double in the first week. Fact. 75% of our stocks double in the first week. You show me who else has that type of track record, okay? 18% of our stocks go 10x or more, okay? 95% win rate. These are facts. Look through our track record. Anybody who comes up with some fugazi numbers, they will doctor it. They'll pick something out of these. There's a lot of dishonest people out there, okay? Okay, let's go through, by the way, let's go through some of our big wins and what do they all have in common because it's important. Why do we go through this? Cytodyne, this stock went up 2,000% within about 9 months, okay? 220x, people made 20 times their money. CloudMD, this stock went up 500% in a few months, okay? By the way, this company could have been a 10 bagger. The CEO of this company is a mooch bum. He's promoting a new stock on the Canadian Scam Exchange. We're going to be covering, but this guy, it could have been a 10 bagger, but the guy was a mooch bum and he's making the same mistake now. He's a failure. A lot of these CEOs, watch out for these guys. I explain in the book, 10 bagger blueprint, okay? CEO quality is important. CBDT, this stock went up 5,000% in 4 months, 50x. People made 50 times the money. By the way, this CEO was a mooch bum, okay? This thing now is trading at 0. By the way, our contract with the company ended right at that point, right when that stock went up 50x. And, he came to me and says, oh, do you want to continue for another 6 months? I'll pay you. I said, nah, it's okay. It's okay. Because I knew this guy, he stopped putting out news. He didn't have any M&A. He wasn't taking advantage of he had no way to sustain that increase. So, we just walked away. And by the way, you should know when we're no longer promoting a stock, unless it's on NASDAQ, unless the stock is on NASDAQ, caveat emptor. Imagine AR went up 1,700% in 6 months. Nexttech, 1,300% in 6 months. Red Light Holland. Oh, these are losers, by the way. These are loser companies. Up 300% in the first week. Logic up 200% in, I don't know, like a month or something. I don't know why. I'm looking at, I don't know what these slides are doing here. Actually, this is like, by the way, I've worked with so many companies. I forgot how many companies. I mean, I've worked with literally 3,000 companies. No. Okay. Wall Street Reporter, if you look at Wall Street Reporter, you go in the Wayback Machine. We've literally done 10,000 public company interviews over the last, since 1997. A lot. Logic up 200%. Fans Unite, 10 bagger, took about 6 months. These guys also mooch bumps. The Canadian CEOs, very bad. Any stocks listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange, usually there's something wrong with them. They usually, these are what they call lifestyle companies. They don't take it seriously, Here's the thing. When I sign with a company, I want it to be a 10 bagger. I will do everything legally, morally, more or less ethically. But the CEOs, they have to want to win also. I can't want to win more than these guys. These guys were lazy. As soon as they went up 10x, they got lazy. That's the sad thing. You got to watch out for this, especially with the Canadians. The Canadians are very lazy people. As soon as a stock goes up 10x, they quit. I don't think that's the case with the Worksport. The CEO of the Worksport is a Canadian, but this guy's a hardworking guy. I think he's very ambitious. Peak Fintech. Whoa, this is a bad slide. This stock went up 2,000%. That's an old slide. 2,000% increase in 6 months. Old slide also, 1,200% increase. Shit, what am I looking at here? This went up. This is an old deck. I got an old deck. This thing went up 1,200%. By the way, this CEO also a mooch bum, Jay Hutton, turned out to be a scammer basically, but increased 1,200%. This guy raised a bunch of money also on the Canadian exchange. ESE Entertainment went up 1,200%. I can't say again. The Canadian CEOs. I have too many daily doubles. I mean, so many stocks have doubled in one day. I showed you these winners are wins from this year. These are all massive wins. Okay, let's go through the rules. Very important rules, guys. Please pay close attention. Rule number 1: get in early. Okay, you want to be in at the ground floor as soon as we launch a stock. Okay, if you chase a stock, it's your own fault. Okay, if you buy a stock after it's already doubled or tripled, don't blame me if the stock drops back. Not my fault. You got to get in at the ground floor. How do you get in at the ground floor? Click the link below to get in our weekly newsletter to get in early notifications. You got to get in early. Number 2, do your own research. Don't believe everything we tell you here, okay? This is all paid content. One thing you always want to look for is where the charts on the moving average. We want to be buying stocks that are breaking above the moving average, sell them when they go below. How does it work? It's in the book. I wrote this book for a reason, okay? Guys, stop making excuses. If you're losing money with these stocks, it's because you're not following the rules in the book. And by the way, don't believe anything I tell you, okay? Do not believe me. I have a conflict of interest, okay? I'm the most transparent guy out there, okay? I am basically like a lawyer for a company. It's like I'm O.J. Simpson's lawyer, okay? That my job is to say, he didn't do it. He didn't do nothing, all right? If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. That's my job, all right? But I only take on clients which I believe more or less are innocent, But here's the thing. You got to follow the rules, meaning where the moving average is, that's the big thing. The moving average is a big one. What's happening with the chart? That is that's the scientific reality. Everything else is BS. What the CEO say, what I say, doesn't matter. Press releases, none of the financials, none of it matters. What matters is the moving average. How does it work? It's in the book. All right. Number 3, Big one, manage your risk, okay? Don't put all your money into one stock, okay? Capital allocation matters. Now, have we had people make a lot of money by going all in one stock? Yes, we have. We have, what's his name? A guy in Vancouver, this kid. He went all in on a couple of our stocks back to back. He parlayed his money. He turned like, I think it was 10 grand or 2,000 to over $1 million in about 6 months. Okay, from a couple of grand to $1 million. It's on our 10 bagger blueprint website. Number 4, okay, you know when to cut losses, cash in, and take profits. Okay, I have the rules in the book. Okay, and in my course, I tell you when to sell. I have a chapter that tells you when to sell. I have a chapter when to take profits and when to cut your losses. It's all in here. Okay, so don't ask me, should I buy or sell? It's in the book. I cannot tell you when to buy or sell a stock. It's not my business, not my job. It's not moral or legal or ethical. Now, very important. Capital allocation. Again, how much should you put into one stock? I don't think you should put more than, 20% of your portfolio into one stock. All right. By the way, you got to have enough, think of it this way. We're selling you like a slate. It's almost like the movie business. Okay. When a Hollywood studio puts out a movie, when they put $50 million, $100 million into making a movie, they don't know if it's going to work or not. Nobody knows anything in Hollywood. That's an old saying. Nobody knows anything. Sometimes it's the one you least expect. But if you have more or less, you got the right actors, you have a system that works, they more or less know that 1 out of 3 is going to be a big winner. They have it's like a bell curve. Okay. Same thing with us. Okay. I don't know which stock is going to be the 10 bagger. I have no idea. I know about 18% of our stocks become 10 baggers. Or which one is it going to be? I have no idea. We might go through 10 stocks back to back, just doubles or whatever. And then the number 11 is a 10 bagger. Number 12 is a 10 bagger. Number 13 is a 10 bagger. And then number 14, collapses out of the gate, goes to 0. It can happen. So you got to have money to buy the full slate. As they say, like that's what they call it in Hollywood, a slate. Okay, when they get financing from investors, the smart way to do it is you don't put money into one movie, you buy the slate. You see what the studio is putting out, and you put money into 10 movies. Okay, you put $1 million into each one rather than 10 million to all. So you got to have enough money to buy our slate. You got to have enough money to go into 5 of our stocks. That's the way you got to look at what we do. If you want to do the 10 bagger blueprint methodology, you got to have enough money to go into 5 different deals. That's the reality. Okay, very important. This slide is the most important slide. Okay, this is also the reality, by the way. Okay, all you guys think a stock is going to go to the moon as soon as you buy it because the market owes that to you. It's not the reality. You see that at the bottom, that is the reality. You see where it says hodl, hodl, what that means? Everybody thinks, oh, it's a smooth ride to the moon. Oh, it's just going to go to the moon. Oh, it's going to go to the moon. No, you're going to go through pits, valleys. That's the way it works. Okay, that is, let me pull up the slide here. Here we go. That is the slide. You see that? That's the reality. That is the reality. Get used to it. If you can't handle that, don't buy these stocks. That's the reality. And by the way, the big money is made by holding. Okay, that's it. That's all I got to say, guys. We got a new banker coming out in about a week. Okay, we're going to have probably 1 or 2 every month. Don't bother me and say, when is the next one coming? We're going to have 1 or 2 a month. Sometimes we might go a month or 2 without doing anything. I'm very selective about the companies I take on. It's got to meet our 10 criteria. You want to know what those criteria are? You want to know how to make money? Again, get the book. It's on Amazon. Link below, or get my video course and get the early notifications. A link below if you're watching on YouTube, or above if you're watching on wherever you're watching. All right, guys, here's to your 100X.